starting here at the well. This area has blueberries that need special attention. Up here I had in-ground potatoes, but the voles and whatnot, but I also had container potatoes and those did much better. So I will be doing a lot more container potatoes all along this space around the well. Here I had the tomatoes staked on the perimeter of the bed, and in the middle I had various herbs and onions, which there's still a few poking out. I don't know if they made it through the cold, but I think we'll retain some tomatoes. I also want to do melons in this space and allow them to vine up versus trailing on the ground. We'll have some trail on the ground. Here we have the garlic currently. That will be done mid-July, and then we'll either cover crop or do some short-term green, or just let it rest and then wait for the fall crop. And then the rest of it, I estimate about either 3 foot wide or 2 3 foot wides and 2 2 foot wides. I haven't decided exactly, but primarily the furthest over here will be corn, succession sown on two squares, rectangles, and then okra on one, eggplant, peppers, things that are bushy and a little bit tall but not so tall, because the corn will be tall and then the okra will be tall, then some things a little bit shorter over here because the sun, this is south, and the sun trails east to west. And then here I'm still playing around with what to put in the containers. Maybe carrots, something with deep tap roots would do well in those, being that I built up the soil a good foot there. Probably root vegetables, maybe even sweet potatoes. Yes, I thought about sweet potatoes in those too. And then I'm contemplating whether to buy another raised bed to put atop the current chips, or whether I'm just going to do a raised dirt mound around here in the spaces allotted. Over there is the older raised mound with various things that I will keep. Various things, maybe beans, no, not beans, the greens, the brassicas. There should be rhubarb coming up here if they survived. If not, this would also be a good space for more rhubarb, and maybe I would just do more rhubarb along the whole thing. Also asparagus. The perennials, the things that will last years, I would put on the edgings of the spaces. And then, you know, more beds as the space allows, even though this is like a travel area. So definitely there. And then I might do some, you know, along this hill. But this is also a waterway. Now that we put in the chips and we get heavy rains, we can see where, I mean, I just disturbed that, but we can see where the water has disturbed the wood chips and have wanted to go. Normally it would go in this direction and down that way, but with the chips here, a lot more water, see that disturbance there, a lot more water has just gone down. See that disturbance there, and more into the lawn, which is not ideal. So I would like to redirect the water coming from the hill back down and just down this hill that it was currently going, and down and down and down. But we'll see. This center area will continue to be asparagus. I don't want to mess with that much more. Now over here, this was rhubarb, but I have not expanded so much as just moved out. So this is new wood chips laid out that I will develop. There's rhubarbs back there that should come up in the spring. So I haven't decided what to put here. Trellis, obviously for me it'll be beans, peas, but I will be elevating them from the soil because I have a lot of slugs and I don't know what else that just keeps eating all the sprouts, so I'm gonna have to do some kind of raised space here to take advantage of the trellis. Loofah, cucumbers, all the stuff. Green stalk's pretty self-explanatory. Small things, leafy things. This bed has done wonderfully for the squash. I'll continue that. Squash, sweet potatoes did well in here. Loofah did the first year, not so much the second year. So, but I'll plug in loofah. Vining things, have deep soil things, not carrots, but sweet potato type things. And then there's this other trellis for the squash that did well, and that will continue to. I'll be taking that down, and that soil will fill in where it needs to, but this one will stay and continue to be a marigold heaven. The leeks did really well here 2 years ago, so I'm going to put them back here. This can be easily covered for the winter, so they can survive that next year. So leeks will be in here. I don't know. I'm sure I'll figure something else to put in there. So here I had grown potatoes. They did okay. I'll purpose that for something. The figs. I got some raspberries in the back. I lost a raspberry, so I want to get some other berry bush, fill that in. This will be primarily asparagus. Ground cherry did well here, so I'm going to have a lot of volunteer ground cherries come up, so I'll let a few of them come up. Make sure to stake those, and that will be wonderful space for the ground cherries if I can get the squirrels away and the chipmunks away. And cosmos reseeded, so there'll be a nice patch of cosmo flowers right there. This I will primarily keep as a calendula bed. There's rosemaries in there, which if they did survive this winter, I might have to transplant them. But otherwise, I'm going to keep all this a calendula bed, or if I have collected enough calendula, I'll mix it up with another herb that is medicinal that I can save from. I think bee balm. I have an order for bee balm, so if I've exhausted spaces, I will put bee balm in here as well. This will be primarily herbs. I have parsley, dill, cilantro that will probably reseed in the spring. This brown stuff is yarrow that will come back up. Basil does well here, so I'm gonna keep that. This was amaranth. That did well. That looked really pretty. I might do a line of that versus, well, they do tend to fall over. I have to think about that. But maybe I'll just put it like at the ends of the bed versus in the middle. Flowers, put flowers here. Yeah. Oh, there'll be plenty of cherry tomato volunteers also coming back up, so I'll let a few of those stay. Borage is self-seeded and will probably be here as well, so that will stay, and we'll transplant some as well. This space was a failure for watermelons. So I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I'll have to think about that. This space was potatoes, and sweet potatoes. Didn't do well, mainly because of the drought, not because, but again, voles is a problem. So, onions, right, I'm just going to do a lot of onions here. And just things that repel, that the voles don't like, hopefully. Otherwise, I'll have to do some kind of system to keep them out. I had a little wildflower space here, and this should come up, whatever was in here, delphiniums and whatnot. But as you can see, a lot of washout. I had seeded this in the fall, and those seeds are somewhere down the driveway at this point. Part of that is because I had decided to do leaf mold over here, so that diverted the water a little bit in the wrong direction. So I'm going to have to do some earthwork and trench a little bit so that the water will kind of stay in its own space and not wash out everything I work hard on. And last is the south wall of the house. The great thing about containers is they can be moved, so I can move that over to the well and put more potatoes in it. Peppers do well in that. This house, the ginger. Oh, where was I going to put the ginger this year? I don't remember. That could be all. I'm going to do more peppers this year, so I was thinking of dedicating all the spaces on the south side, which is just this and this, to peppers. They did well here last year, so I think we will continue that, let them have at it. Yeah, otherwise there's lots of places where we can tuck plants in. Anywhere can be a garden and grow food, flowers. Alright. Oh, I snagged 3. I already spread out one for the chickens. Straw bales from like an events place. They do Halloween or something Christmassy and weddings. So whenever people order bales of hay and they leave them there, then I see it in Facebook Marketplace, and we drive on up, pick some up. We can only hold 3 in the truck bed, so I wish I could get more, but it's a haul to go. So if we're going in that direction, make sure we have other projects also. Oh, one last place. This is I think it's an apple. It doesn't produce anything, but around the base of it, or around it, used to be the strawberries. That's all the pallets that I had them on, which we have taken apart. So now the tree's coming down. So, oh, I'd already seeded flowers all around the trunk. So hopefully those are still there. They didn't get all washed out or eaten, and there'll be nice flowers around that space. Alright, that's the plan for 2023. It's fun planning things, but I'm gonna pull out my seeds, write down what I have, and then I can make better notes of where I expect certain things to go. But the bulk of it are, you know, the tomatoes, peppers, corn, big summertime items. Those are they have their dedicated spaces. Everything else I can just plop here, there, wherever space allows. Alright, that's it.